there's one expression that you probably won't hear your home insurance agent tell you, but that is the key expression that you as a homeowner must keep in mind. And if you've seen any of the television court shows, you're probably familiar with this expression. The expression is burden of proof. You as a homeowner have the burden of proof to prove your damages. And when you don't prove your damages, then you're at the mercy of the insurance company, and what they decide is you're eligible for recovery, right? So when you don't go out there and say, hey, here's what I'm proving needs to be done in order to bring my home back to pre-damage condition, which is what your policy implies, right? When you don't do that, you don't get it. Okay, so again, out of the millions and millions and millions of home insurance claims that are put every year here in the United States, less than 5% are represented by public adjusters like myself. And what that means is that, again, you're not supplying that burden of proof. Now, you know the expression burden of proof. What does it mean? Well, burden of proof means that, first of all, it's not just one thing that you need to prove. It's several different things that go under that umbrella of burden of proof. For instance, you need to prove whether the damage was caused by a peril that is listed in your policy, by a peril that is covered by your policy. For instance, a peril may be rain, or a peril may be flooding, or a peril may be wind. If that is covered in your policy, then that's one of the steps that you need to do, is you need to prove that that is a fact. Then you need to prove what the damage was. Then you need to prove the extent of the damage, what needs to be replaced. Then you need to prove what materials need to be replaced. Then you need to prove how much in labor costs it's going to cost to put all that stuff back into place to get your home back to pre-damage condition. So there's a lot of moving parts there. And as a homeowner, if you don't understand that, if you cannot prove that, then you're at the mercy of the insurance companies, and they know that. That's why they don't tell you. You won't hear from your insurance agent that you have the burden of proof. They don't, they know that you have the burden of proof, but they won't offer you that information for the most part, because they know that once you start trying to fish around and once you start trying to prove things, you're definitely going to get more money. So the number one thing I want to express with this video here is this. If you went out there and you attempted to do this on your own, and number one, you were denied, or number two, you were not satisfied with the amount of money that you got back, then you may want to pick up the phone and call me up and say, hey Mike, maybe you might want to take a look at this and see if there's anything there. There's no charge for me to go and look at your policy, look at your claim, and see if there's something that we can do to add to the monies that you already collected, or maybe you didn't collect, maybe you were denied, right? And a lot of times you are denied because you simply said one wrong thing. You say one wrong thing and that, boom, cuts you off, and you're not eligible for anything. So you have to be very, very, very careful. That phone call that you make to your friendly customer service, that friendly customer service is trained to ask you questions that may or may not be to your favor. So what I always say is let our company do the calling for you. Let us do the talking. That's why you're paying us. You're paying us to prove your burden, and you're paying us to represent you. That's what we do best. We've done it for over 20 years, and we're masters at what we do. So if you put a claim within the last 12 months and you did not get the results that you want, I'm here to help. If you are about to put a claim and you don't have representation, I'm here to represent you. And I would highly suggest that you don't even make that first phone call. Let me look at your policy, because sometimes, you know what, you may not even be covered. And if you are not covered, you still get you still get a listing on your record as if a claim was put out there. So before you go through that process, right, you want to be able to make sure that, number one, the peril is listed in your policy. That's something that you're definitely going to get paid for. And number two, let's do a scope so that we can see the exact extent of the damage, what needs to be repaired, what needs to be replaced, what how much labor cost is it going to cost. Let us work on your behalf, give you the burden of proof that you need in order to make a successful claim. My name is Mike Martinez. If you're in the Pennsylvania or New Jersey area, I am ready, willing, and able to help. Pick up the phone, give me a call.